They said that the stars are galaxies. Okay. The Bible says that the devil, hell, drew 1/3 heaven. Hold on, stop. We all know that Satan deceived 1/3 of the angels. The Bible says 1/3 of the stars. So what are the stars? Angels. Do you notice the second?
All right, I'm gonna have to stop it right there. Let me tell you one more time. First of all, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Makakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Ones are like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. I like to say this. Let's leave it to the professionals. Let's leave it to the professionals. I'm going to let it play again in case anybody didn't catch it.
They said that the stars are galaxies. Okay. The Bible says that the devil, hell, drew 1/3 of the stars in heaven. Hold on, stop. We all know that Satan deceived 1/3 of the angels. The Bible.
I guess at that moment he thought he was he thought that was a mic drop. He erred not knowing the scriptures at all. At all. He have no clue. But I'm gonna let it rock.
Says 1/3 of the stars. So what are the stars? Angels. Do you notice the second day of creation when he made the heavens? You know, the first day he said, let there be light. He saw the light, that it was good, and he separated from darkness. And that was the first day. The second day he created the heavens. Notice he did not call the heavens good. Go back and read it.
This guy's an idiot, yo. These Christians don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. He's retarded, but
what is he getting at here? What is he getting at here?
Go back and read the second day of creation. Yahuwah did not call it good. Why?
But then now you know why he's breaking it down wrong. Because you don't even know the name of the Lord. Niggas think they deep. They really think they're something. And they keep showing that they don't know nothing. Everything that he's saying is totally incorrect. I'm gonna break it down. But it's a simple breakdown, but it's difficult for these guys to understand.
Because in the second heaven are the fallen angels.
How you do that?
Whoa. Whoa.
Look up there. We are calling them stars. And we call it a shooting star. And we call it a falling star. They're falling angels. Do you see why he's shaking everything? Do you see?
And you'll see why this guy's out of his fucking mind. Now check out the next thing he's gonna say.
Now, why he said, this time, I'm not going to just shake the earth. I'm going to shake the heaven. I'm not finna even get into all the shaking, right? That's for another time. But I'm saying this and I'm giving you this revelation for you to understand what is taking place now. So there's a lot going on in the world.
I ain't gonna lie, I got this on one of my studies is learning with the stars. For real. That's crazy.
They said that.
Yeah, that is crazy because you don't know what the fuck you don't know what he's talking about. That's what makes it even more crazy. Y'all worrying about the stars and the quasars and all this other shit, but y'all even know who y'all are as a people. That's crazy. All right, that's bugged the fuck out. But there's a reason why 2/3 of the nation of Israel is bugged out, saying the bugged out things. They don't know the scriptures. They don't know the Lord. This is what we've been saying through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai for a long time. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know who y'all dealing with. All right. Let me get a couple of scriptures. Yeah, that was just a bugged out breakdown, so to speak. Hosea 4:6. It says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." So how you gonna? You don't even know who you are. How you gonna tell anybody about falling this and falling that, the stars and the quasars and all this? I just like saying that. You don't even understand Genesis, the first chapter, and you try to break it down because you believe in a fairy tale that the Catholic Church has told throughout all these years. Satan and his angels, blah 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 blah, but not even understanding that what that really means. Y'all and like Apostle Paul, you want to, if you really want to get somebody, go into prophecy. Go into prophecy, right? Because it proves that they're not qualified. They don't understand the scriptures because it wasn't meant for them to understand the scriptures. The scriptures is too deep, right? Here's a people that rejected who they are, reject their teachers, reject their leaders. They don't have a clue. They don't know the name of the Lord. All right. They hate each other, but then they're gonna try to break down the scriptures. Fuck out of here. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. That thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that has forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. So since they don't want to know the Lord, they don't want to know what pissed the Lord off and so forth, they remain lost. All right. What I said, let me get this real quick before I get to others. Isaiah, yep, 28. That's what I want to get. 28. It says 12. It says to whom he said, oh no, sorry, I gotta go up. 10. And this is a clue. This is a code. Even though we tell people how to read it, they still can't understand it. All right? They will not understand it. But it's a code. It says for precept upon precept must be upon precept. Precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. This is how you're supposed to read. I gotta actually went up. So verse 9, whom shall he teach knowledge? Or whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are winged from the milk and drawn from the breast. So winged from the milk is basic. When a baby is born, what is the first thing that a baby is introduced as food? The mother's milk. Because the mother's milk bears all the essentials that is needed for that child to grow strong. All right. And to be one with the mother, right? The milk is just not just for strength building, and it's also a bond, a spiritual bond, a physical bond that a mother and a child has. And you notice most children that are breastfed are normally bigger, stronger, they're more sturdier. And that's how you have to apply it to the scriptures. You have to apply the scriptures as you're a child. No matter who you are, you have to look at things in the basic form. What is the basic? Why it's so important to understand who you are, what's going on? Because if you don't know who you are, how you gonna know what's going on in the heavens? How creation was created, right? So precept upon precept, line upon line. I'm sorry, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line. Here a little and there a little. For with staggering lips and with another tongue will he speak to his people. To whom he said, "This is the rest." All right. This is why people get confused with everything because there's no rest. He don't know the name of the Lord. All right. He was close, but no cigar, meaning he don't know the name of the Lord. You can't get close and don't understand. The Spirit of the Lord has to show you. Spirit of the Lord have to take you to your teachers and open up your eyes. The Spirit have to recognize the Holy Spirit. So it says, but this is the rest. What we've been taught is the rest. All right. It says, wherefore he caused the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear. And this is the refreshing. Refreshing meaning read back fresh. Matter of fact, let me go to the refreshing. The Hebrew word is mar ga'a, rest, repose, place to rest. So you know where you from, who you are, what tribe you from, what is your future. Now, if they truly understood the scriptures, they would have known a lot of times things are not literal, and some things are literal. You got to know how to put it together. All right. Now let's go to what did he say? I'm gonna go over what he said first. Let's go to that. Revelation 12, and I'll start at 1. It says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and in the moon, and under her feet and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So automatically people automatically assume that's Mary. No, that woman is representation of Israel. Israel as a nation is a woman unto the Lord. Jeremiah 6:2. It says, I liken the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. All right. So the Lord likened his people, the entire nation, as a woman. Right? Now, let's go to the next precept. Genesis. Oh, I had it in the other one, right? Genesis 37 and 9. It says, and it's talking about Joseph and his dream. And this is the dream that Joseph told his father and his brethren. I'm just going straight to the point. And he dreamed yet another dream and told it his brethren and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obedience to me. So who was he talking about? And the father broke it down, and he told it to his father and his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, what is this dream that has dreamed? Shall I and thy mother see that? So he said the father and the mother, right? And thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the earth. So what was Jacob telling his son Joseph? That dream that he had represented exactly who was there. It was the father, which was Jacob, representing the sun, the moon, the mother, and the 11 stars was the brethren. In other words, the stars represent Israel. Okay. Now, when you read the scriptures, the sun and the moon is the wisdom and understanding. Okay, we are the stars of Israel. All right, that's why I want I didn't think it. Let me see. What I mean, I didn't think it. I had it. What you call it? Um, Genesis, I believe it's 15. Forgive me if it's not 15. said, count the stars. Hold on. I should just type in the stars and see what it says. Even though I know. And I'll come back. Genesis 15:5. He said, and he brought him, Genesis 15:5, and he brought him forth abroad and said, look now towards heaven and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. So Abraham, before he was called Abraham, which is the father of nations, Abram, okay, the Lord promised him that he was gonna be a father of a great nation. And he said, look at the stars. That's how your children are gonna be. All right. So the Lord always referenced when it came down to his people, the stars to be his people. One more. Hosea, it's popped in my head. 1:10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place, oh, sorry, and it doesn't say stars, but in the place where it said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall it be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. I should have went up in Genesis 15, but it's all right. So going back to Revelations, what was I reading there? Yeah, Revelation 12 and 1. It says, and 2. And she, being with child, cried, travail in pain, well, in birth pain, sorry, in birth, in pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. So let's go back. It says, go back, Revelation 12 and 2. And she being with child, and Israel had plenty of children. Okay, plenty of children. So who's the she that? Matter of fact, let me get the precept to that real quick. If I get the Isaiah 9:6 says, unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulder. His name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. And that was talking about prophecy of Yahushua. So the child that was being born was the Messiah. All right. Israel had plenty of children. Why would it speak of that? It's giving you history, also a future prophecy in the mix of it. Okay. And what was the birth, the travail in the birth is when the Lord was born, Herod had sent forth the soldiers to destroy the Lord. Matthew, not the 4th chapter. It should be, I'm sorry, Matthew 2. It says, now, when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, they came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born king of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. So the star was a chariot. All right, what the world called a UFO. And it says when Herod king had heard these things, he was troubled because why? Herod was a usurper. He was given that authority by the Romans. All right, he was backed by the Romans as a usurper. He was a puppet king, and he knew the history. His father and so forth. They knew the history because why? They had to know who they was ruling. They knew that the promise was of the Messiah to come, the true King, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Mashiach shall be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea. And when you look up the etymology for Bethlehem is what? By Bayath Akam, which means house of bread. Right? But thus it is written by the prophet. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, art not the least among the princes of Judah, which is it's supposed to be Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel, that was at Isaiah, the 9th chapter, 6th verse on down. Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared, and he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again that that I may come and worship him also. And when they heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. Let me jump down. I'm gonna jump down. All right, 16. Then Herod, when he saw it, he was mocked of the wise man, which exceeding wrath, he sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently and inquired of the wise man. So what did he do? He panicked. He lost it. All right. Then was it fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah? It's supposed to be Jeremiah the prophet saying, and Ramam was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping, and great mourning. Rachel weeping for her children and would not be comforted because they were not. So that's why that birth pain was so bad, because there was a great slaughter in that land. Okay, so going back to Revelations 12:3, and they appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. Which that dragon was what? That dragon was literally the Roman Empire. All right, and and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. So he's talking about the actual stars, and they were on the angels and so forth. No, that was talking about going back to Genesis, the 37th chapter. It's talking about Israel. All right, who is there of the land at that time? The ones that was in the land at that time were Judah, Benjamin, Levi. me get this real quick. Oh, Matthew 11. 11? I always get these mixed up. Yeah. 11 and I just want to straight to the point. 12. It says, from the day of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. And what was the Lord talking about? The occupation that the the people that were there of Israel was under. This is why you need to know the Old Testament, you need to know the New Testament. The Old Testament, everything that was referenced was from the Old Testament. And we got the entire book that referenced everything. So I'm going to the Luke 11, actually, I Luke 11. I haven't read that in a while. Hold on. Yeah, 11 and 17. It says, but he knowing their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself. No, 17 and 14. I'm sorry. 11, Luke 17 and 21. It says, neither shall they say, lo here or lo there, but behold, the kingdom of the Most High is within you. So the kingdom of heaven on earth has always been the Lord's people. So the third part of the stars that came down was Judah, Benjamin, Levi that were there. They was being occupied. That was the kingdom of heaven that is spoken of in Revelation. And it says, and they cast them down to the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, but devour her child as soon as he was born. That was going back into the time of the Messiah. See, these Christians don't have a clue when it comes down to the scriptures. All right, they don't understand the scriptures. They actually think that's an actual beast, even though it tells you when the angel did break it down to them, to the prophets about the beast, they told them it was about a kingdom. So what was going to be the difference in the book of Revelation? And this is the same vision that Daniel saw word for word. And when the angel broke it down to Daniel, told him like, look, these are the kingdoms that were diverse from another. All right. So the Roman occupation awaiting the coming of the Lord, which was Herod waiting to destroy the Messiah. All right. And the people that was being taken and occupied by the Romans. That's why they had a group called the Sicaries, the dagger men. They was going out slaying. They was going out slaying anything that they could find, any Roman that they could find. And it says, and she brought forth a man child who was to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. Genesis 49th chapter. I mean, there's several scriptures. Daniel, the 7th chapter. It's talking about whom? The Lord. In Revelations 19th chapter, Revelations 1 and 3. And it says, and was caught up unto the Most High and to his throne. Acts, the 1st chapter. And so forth. So that right there, that shuts down everything that guy was saying. He don't know. Now he said about Genesis 1 and 2. I don't know. It says, and this is how you read it properly. In the beginning, Elohim's created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of the Most High moved upon the face of the waters. I'm sorry. See, I got caught up. And the spirit of the Elohims. That's because when you go in here, you look at it says Elohim. It's not Elohim. There's no E in the Hebrew. Elohim. This is Elohim. All right, which means ruler, judge, divine ones, angels. All right, the angels and them with the Lord was the one that created the heavens and the earth, that created everything. It was given the blueprint and they created. So the heaven and the earth was created before the sun, the moon, and the stars. All right. It said, let there be light, and there was light. And the Elohim saw the light that it was good. So what is this guy talking about? It says, and Elohim divided the light from darkness, and called the light dark, and the darkness he called night. And evening and the morning he were the first day. And the Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So it was talking about the different ozone layers in space, also space. All right. And the Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament, the Elohims which were above the firmament. Sorry, and the waters that which were above the firmament. It was so. And the Elohim called the firmament heaven, and in the evening and the morning were the second day. And the Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so, which was the earth. All right. And everything that they did, they considered it good. He didn't have to go and say, oh, the heavens is good. And this, he didn't have to say that, because everything already had put everything in play. Already made this sun, the moon, and the stars. That was good. All right. That's not talking about the fallen angels. The fallen angels is talking about Israel. Literally talking about Israel. Literally talking about the sons of God. Sons of God on earth. All right. And it says, and the Elohim called the dry land earth, and gathered together of the waters called the he sees, and the Elohim saw that it was good. So they reported to the Lord, and the Lord was like, this is how I wanted it. That's all. It's not that hard. Dude's trying to reach for it. You know what I'm saying? Going to real quick. Um, Isaiah 14, 12, 11, 12, I can't remember. 12. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, which heaven is a state. All right? There's heaven on earth, and there's heaven above. The skies are considered a heaven. The different layers of the firmament, which are ozone layers, whatever you call it, those are heavens. All right. And Lucifer is nothing but the king of Babylon, light bearer. The sons of the morning, heart that cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations. So who's the Lucifer, or the light bearers of today? They call themselves the illuminated ones. And they the ones that breed contention and confusion and put certain things out there to keep the masses confused. And guys like that, thinking that he's breaking shit down like he's a scholar, he don't have a clue. Oh, there was another one. Oh man, I gotta do that. Like these quote unquote Christians don't have a clue about the scriptures. They can't put it together. All right, they can't put it together because it was not meant for them to put it together. This is only meant for certain people on earth, a selective few to understand. I'm going back to this real quick because it's gonna say, and it says, "For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. So we established the stars, not talking about the actual stars. Stars could be talking about the nation of Israel, because we are the 12. We are the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 stars. All right, each tribe is a star in the sight of the Lord. I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, which is what? North America. So they are above us. We are servants unto them. All right. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. Now we're talking about space. I will be like the Most High. So here it is, a group of individuals on earth trying to be as the Most High. And that's talking about Esau, Edom. All right. And Esau, Edom, and Israel always had friction amongst each other. Why? Because we're mortal enemies. That's why the Romans came down so hard the way it was. That's why Herod did what he did. He didn't want to lose his power. He knew that if the Messiah was born the way he was born, that the people would gravitate to the true king. But the Lord didn't have it that way. The Lord had it where when the Messiah was born, he was born in a humble stable. He was born in the place that he was supposed to be born, and nobody knew. Okay? So once again, the quote unquote Christians, they don't have a clue. So that being said, shalom to the elected nation of Israel. Shalom.